Hi, good morning. How are you? Hope all of you are fine. Last class we have discussed the Hand-Banach theorem and some corollaries of Hand-Banach theorem. Today also we are discussing some other corollaries of Hand-Banach theorem. Okay. So the next corollary is X star is a total set. Now what do you mean by a total set? X star is total means if f of x equal to 0 for every f in x star, then x must be equal to 0. F of x equal to 0 for every f implies x must be equal to 0. Now what about corollary 3.1.5? For any x1 belongs to x, x2 belongs to x, if x1 not equal to x2, then there exists a f belongs to x star such that f of x1 not equal to f of x2. That you can write as, you take some x is equal to x1 minus x2. Okay, x1 not equal to x2, the corollary says that x1 not equal to x2 implies there exists a f such that f of x1 not equal to f of x2. Okay, that means x1 minus x2 not equal to 0 implies there exists a f such that f of x1 minus f of x2 not equal to 0. That implies f of x1 minus x2 not equal to 0. Okay. If you choose x is equal to x1 minus x2, that implies for every x belongs to x, if x not equal to 0, then there exists a f such that f of x not equal to 0. Okay, using the same result. Okay, for x1 minus x2 you replace by x. Okay, therefore for if x not equal to 0, then there exists a f such that f of x not equal to 0. So now come to 3.1.6. This says that x star is a total set. That is, if f of x equal to 0 for every f, then x must be equal to 0. Okay, so just look at the proof of this corollary. Suppose x not equal to 0, then using this result there exists a f such that f of x not equal to 0. But that is a contradiction because f of x equal to 0 for every f. That means x must be equal to 0. Clear? Now the next corollary is let L be a subspace of x, okay, and let x belongs to x be such that distance between x and L is equal to d and d is greater than 0. Then the result says that there exists a f belongs to x star such that norm of f equal to 1 and f of L equal to 0 and f of x equal to d. Okay, hope the statement is clear for you. Distance between x and L is equal to d, and we have to prove there exists a f belongs to x star such that norm of f equal to 1 and f of L equal to 0, also f of x equal to d. Now what is the meaning of f of L equal to 0? F of L equal to 0 means f of x equal to 0 for every x belongs to L. Okay, and f of x must be equal to d. Okay, given distance between x and L is equal to d. Okay, so x belongs to x and distance between x and L equal to d, and d must be greater than 0. Okay, d greater than 0, then clearly we can conclude that clearly x not belongs to L. If x belongs to L, distance between x and L must be clearly 0. Okay, and x not belongs to L. Now we are considering the set L1 is equal to span of x comma L. Okay, clearly this is a subset of x. Okay, the all elements are of the form linear combination of x and linear elements of L. Okay, so for each z belongs to L1, you can write z is equal to some lambda 1 x plus y where y belongs to L. Okay. Now here we are considering capital X or vector space over real numbers. So you can write lambda. Okay, lambda is a real number. Okay, so for any z belongs to L1, z is equal to lambda x plus y. Now we are going to show that this representation is unique. Suppose z is equal to some lambda 1 x plus some y1. Okay, then we get lambda x plus y is equal to lambda 1 x plus y1, and we get lambda minus lambda 1 x plus y minus y1 is equal to 0. Okay, and 0, clearly 0 you can write as some 0x plus 0. 0 belongs to L. Okay, L is a subspace, clearly 0. So comparing this, we get lambda minus lambda 1 is equal to 0 and y1 minus y minus y1 equal to 0. This implies y equal to y1 and lambda is equal to lambda 1. That means the representation of z is unique. Okay, so for each z belongs to L, there exists a unique lambda and y such that z is equal to lambda x plus y. Clear? Lambda is a real number. Okay, now we define a function f0 from L1 to R as f0 of z is equal to lambda into d. f0 of z is equal to lambda into d. Lambda is a real number, d is also a real number. This implies clearly this belongs to R. As representation is unique, clearly this is a well-defined function. Okay, now you can check whether f0 is linear. Suppose you take some z1 is equal to lambda 1 x1 plus y1 and z2 equal to lambda 2 x2 plus y2. Then what is f0 of z1? Clearly this is equal to lambda 1. f0 of z2 is equal to lambda 2. Now what is z1? Some mu z1, some c z1 plus mu z1 plus lambda z2. This is clearly, I am skipping the steps, mu lambda 1 plus lambda 2. Sorry, this is x actually. Okay, x plus y1 plus y2. Therefore, f0 of mu z1 plus lambda z2 is equal to mu lambda 1 plus lambda 2, and this is equal to mu mu lambda 1, and this is equal to mu f0 of z1 plus lambda f0 of z2. Okay, this implies this f0 is a linear. Okay, therefore f0 is a linear, f0 is a functional, also it is a linear functional. So we get f0 is a linear functional on L1. This implies L1 hash. Now we have to prove that f0 is a bounded linear functional. Also we have to prove f0 of L is equal to 0. Also we have to prove f0 of x is equal to d, etc. Okay. Now suppose for any y belongs to L, you can write y is equal to some 0 of x plus y. Okay, therefore clearly y belongs to L1 because y belongs to L. L is a subset of L1. Okay, so y belongs to L1 and y you can write like this. Therefore f0 of y is equal to 0 into d, and that's equal to 0. f0 of y equal to 0 for every y belongs to L. This implies f0 of L is equal to 0. Okay. Now what about f0 of x? For any x, x belongs to x. Here x you can write as, for this x, if you consider L is equal to span of L1 is equal to span of x and L. For this x you can write as 1 into x plus 0. 0 belongs to y. And f naught of x is equal to, here 1 into d. This implies f naught of x is equal to d. Okay. Therefore, f is a linear function satisfying this condition. Okay. Now we have to prove f naught is a bounded linear function. Now, for any z belongs to L1, z1 is equal to lambda x plus y. Okay. And this you can write as lambda into x plus y by lambda. Y belongs to L. L is a subspace. Y by L also belongs to L. Okay. Now clearly, what about norm of x plus y by lambda? Norm of x minus y is clearly less than or equal to distance between infimum of norm of x minus y is clearly y belongs to is clearly less than or equal to norm of x minus y. Okay. Therefore, here if you take y by L, clearly minus y by L also belongs to our set L. Therefore, clearly this is actually D. D is clearly less than or equal to norm of x plus y by L. Hope it is clear. D is the infimum value and clearly this is less than or norm of x minus y for every y. Okay, and for every and this is true for minus y by lambda also. Therefore, this result holds. Okay. Now what about norm of z? Norm of z is equal to norm of lambda x plus y by lambda, and this is equal to mod lambda into norm of x plus y by lambda. Okay. And clearly this is greater than or equal to, and clearly this is greater than or equal to, because d is less. Okay, therefore this value is greater mod lambda into d, and this is equal to modulus of lambda into d because d is greater than 0. Okay, and this is equal to modulus of f naught of z, because f naught of z is equal to lambda into d. Thus we get f naught of z is less than or equal to norm of z. Okay. If you consider z equal to 1, we get mod f naught of z less than or equal to c into norm of z. This implies f naught is a bounded linear function. Okay, this implies f naught belongs to L1 star. Okay. Thus we get modulus of f naught of z less than or equal to norm of z. Okay. Now we are going to prove norm of f naught is equal to 1. Okay. From this we get, consider supremum z not equal to 0 such that modulus of f naught of z such that norm of z equal to 1 is clearly less than or equal to supremum z not equal to 0 norm of z such that norm of z is equal to 1. Okay. Now what about this value? This is actually norm of f naught under L1, and clearly this is less than or equal to, what about this supremum? Supremum of norm of z such as norm of z equal to 1, that is 1. Okay, therefore this is less than or equal to 1. Okay. Now we have to prove 1 is greater than or 1 is less than or equal to norm of f naught L1. Okay. We have distance between x and L equal to d. Okay, and clearly this is greater than 0. Okay. Now what about d actually? D is actually infimum of norm of x minus y such that y belongs to L. This is the definition. Okay, that means D is the greatest lower bound. That means if you take any epsilon greater than 0, then D plus epsilon cannot be a lower bound. Okay, that means you can find a member in this set such that is clearly less than D plus epsilon. That means there exists a y belongs to L such that norm of x minus y is less than D plus epsilon. You choose epsilon is equal to 1 by n. Okay, for this n there exists a zk. I am denoting this as zk such that norm of zn. Okay, x minus zn less than D plus 1 by n. Okay, and put yn is equal to minus zn. This implies there exists a yn belongs to L such that norm of x plus yn is less than D plus 1 by n. Okay, and what is the meaning of that? And this is equal to, okay, you can less than or equal to infinity. Okay, from this norm of x plus yn minus D is less than or equal to 1 by n. Okay, that means modulus of x norm of x plus yn minus D is less than or equal to 1 by n. Now as n tends to infinity, right hand side tends to 0. Also left hand side tends to 0. That means modulus of norm of x plus yn minus D tends to 0. This implies norm of x plus yn tends to D. Okay, therefore as D equal to this one, you can find a sequence yn such that norm of x plus yn tends to D. Okay, and for this D is equal to D, you can write as sequence yn such that norm of x plus yn converges to D. Okay, now what is f naught of x plus yn? What is the value? This is 1. Okay, for lambda here 1, and this is equal to 1 into D. Therefore D is positive. D is same as modulus of f naught of x plus yn, and this is less than or equal to norm of f naught L1 and norm of x plus yn. But x plus yn converges to D. Thus we get D is less than or equal to norm of f naught L1 to D. This implies norm of f naught L1 greater than or equal to 1. Okay. Already we get this norm of f naught L1 is less than or equal to 1. Here greater than or equal to 1. This implies norm of f naught L1 is equal to 1. Now we apply Hand-Banach theorem for this f naught. For this f naught, there exists a f belongs to x star such that norm of f under x star is same as norm of f naught L1 star. But this is equal to 1. Also, f restricted to L1 is same as f naught. Okay, as L is a subset of L1, f of L is same as f naught of L, and this is equal to 0. Also, f of x is equal to f naught of x, and this is equal to D. This implies there exists a f belongs to x star such that norm of f x star is equal to 1. Also f of L is equal to 0. Then finally f of x equal to D. Okay. Now we are going to define annihilator of a subspace. Okay. Let L be a subspace of X. Then annihilator of L denoted by L Okay, this is equal to set of all f belongs to x star such that f of L is equal to 0. Okay, so L perp consists of all f belongs to x star for which f of L is equal to 0. Okay, now there is a note, L perp is a closed subspace of x star. Okay, clearly L perp is a subset of x star. Now we have to prove this is a subspace. Okay, you choose two elements of this set. Let f comma g belongs to L perp. This implies f of L equal to 0, comma g of L equal to 0. Now consider Cf plus g. Now Cf plus g, we have to prove Cf plus g of L is equal to 0. Okay. So for any x belongs to for any x belongs to L, Cf plus g of x, you can write as Cf of x plus g of x as g is linear. Okay. And this is equal to Cf of x plus g of x. X belongs to L, f of x equal to 0, g of x is also equal to, therefore this is equal to. As x is arbitrary, we can say Cf plus g of x equal to 0 for every x belongs to L. This implies Cf plus g of L equal to 0. This implies Cf plus g belongs to L perp. Okay. Now we have to prove L perp is closed. Okay. Let Fn be a sequence in L perp such that Fn converges to F. Okay. Then Fn, that is the meaning of Fn is a sequence in L perp, means Fn of L is equal to 0. Okay. This implies Fn of x equal to 0 for every x belongs to L. Fn converges to F. This implies Fnx converges to f of x. Okay. This implies each term of this equal to 0. Okay. This implies f of x equal to 0 for every x belongs to L. This implies f of L equal to 0. This implies f belongs to L perp. Therefore, if Fn is a sequence in L perp such that Fn converges to F, then F also belongs to L perp. Okay. Now just revise what we have discussed today. Okay. The first corollary is the x star is a total set. That is, if f of x equal to 0, if f of x equal to 0, for every f belongs to x star, then x must be equal to 0. Then another corollary. Okay. Hope it is clear for you. Okay. Finally, we have discussed the definition of annihilator of a subspace L. In the next class, we will discuss some other corollaries of Hahn-Banach theorem.